Alright, decided I need to do a follow-up video on this. Since one of the issues I ran into with the previous tutorial was you'd hit optimized and pretty much everything would work, but you'd still have those crazy sharp edges where there'd be multiple, like there'd be multiple faces in your BSP brush that you couldn't get rid of, no matter how many times you optimize. Sometimes you could click on the two individual ones and click optimize and it would eventually work, but definitely not something we're looking forward to. In fact, I have a quick example in UDK open of just, our basic map that we were doing before with the hallway. And you'll notice these two lines right here. There's really no easy way to get rid of them. And essentially, let's go back to when you're in the lit mode, you select these are multiple faces, and you don't want that. Now, the reason for it is pretty obvious. You have a hallway going down here, and that's going to go ahead and split your face, and if it's connected together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you just a few hints and tips to get it working very well, so you're not wasting BSP faces, which will impact performance. And keep your BSP brushes to a minimum. I know SketchUp makes it so easy to rip through a bunch of level design very quickly, but from what I've read, BSP rendering impacts the game performance a lot more by using the CPU instead of the GPU. So you try and keep it to a minimum. And let's go back to SketchUp here. So this is sort of the same thing, except what I discovered you really have to do is I always get those navigation models all messed up going from UDK backwards. But anyway, so I've recreated this, and I'm going to put a link in the description to how I set up my SketchUp. I set it up a certain way so that snapping is done correctly and all that, but essentially I recreated this model from scratch, except minus the hallway. So what we need to do is a few things to make sure we don't get those lines across, or we don't get lines elsewhere in the model. So you'll notice here pretty basic stuff. We'll quick fly through what we did here. We'll do the basic things here. You'll notice at the bottom this is snapping to inches. I set up to inches. You can set up to feet at 2, I think, but I think that was in the link. It said do it to inches, but and then we throw in that, and then we offset by a foot, that whole thing, so we get our basic floor plan. But when we add these doorways here, we run into issues. If we exported this without these lines right here along the edge, we would run into, or this line right here, we'd run into issues with these doorways right here, because as far as I can tell, so you can see it needs to have 4. It works best when it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If we had deleted this line right here, it would have had 3, not 4, which means it seems to just connect things randomly and just chooses like a near point or something. And you think, well, this one only has 3. No, actually that's not true. 1, 2, 3, and inside it has a 4th one that's considered a 4th. So that just seems to work better because I think UDK is used to dealing with brushes. So so when we export this, what you're going to do is, if you wanted to build more rooms, you are not going to build them directly onto this. If you want to build a hallway, you're going to build a hallway that is not attached to this. You're going to attach that in the UDK editor. That just seems to be the best way that I figured out how to do it. So exporting this, I made a few changes, and I don't know if some of these changes make any difference, but we're just going to select this, and then we're going to do plugins, Unreal Export, and I downloaded another exporter. It doesn't work, but we're going to do export t3d format, and then I changed the system mode additive because I am doing additive mapping. So, and then I just go ahead and choose export selected to yes, so it only exports that. We're going to hit OK, and then we're going to go and just, let me see. Sure, I think that's the one I wanted to do. Sure, okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to quick relaunch UDK so that I can show you how this brush imports, and that it imports correctly compared to the other brush. Blah blah. And import into new map, and I don't even know what I did there. And wow, I think I exported SKP file, or I'd done something crazy weird. So we're just gonna go ahead and I re-exported it in the background, and then we can go ahead and import. Once again, optimize, close that out. If we fly over, we'll see we have none of those lines. We don't have any screwed up. If we hadn't added these lines around the edge here, we would have had screwed up lines here because there would have only been 3 points, 1, 2, and 3 coming off of this vertex right there. And this would have just gone who knows where. It just seems to choose a point at random, just click over to it, so you'd have some sort of screwed up brush. So that's why we have to do that in SketchUp, even though it's not the preferred way to do it in SketchUp. It adds more time and all that, but it does work well. So that's pretty much the updated tips and tricks for getting it working correctly in UDK. Basically, it's model one room at a time. Don't connect them and export them all at one. Export them as pieces, import them into UDK, and connect them up and get them running that way. So, all right, that pretty much wraps it up.